Today, we're going to cover the topic of deep emotional healing, letting go of certain behavioral tendencies, certain ways of perceiving the world, letting go of past traumatic impressions in the mind, all sorts of limiting beliefs by really understanding and practicing what we talk about in today's video will help you start to become free from these limiting impressions in the mind. That's ultimately what trauma is. So, what we have to begin with is learning to understand trauma itself, understand the mind itself. Look at the mind as like a ball of clay. In the beginning, it's perfectly pure. As we live our life, it collects impressions. If you put like an object on the clay is very soft. It will literally take the shape of the object you put on it. The object creates an impression on the clay. Just like that, as we live life with our conventional worldview and what we have been taught, when we experience certain things, especially when those experiences are of perceived value, you know, when something really important that either adds something great to us, so your great successes, or when something is lost, or when we feel like something that we value is threatened, that type of experience creates an impression on the mind. And notice how these impressions are of fear, anxiousness, hurt. We feel like something is lost. Something I valued has been lost. It's being threatened. It's being taken away. I am becoming less. I might be taken away. I might be annihilated. I might die. It's like that's the nature of those impressions. And then what happens is that because the mind has been impressed with that, right? Experience still unfolds. Life goes on. The experience that created that impression no longer is there. It has passed, but the impression is there. So what we continue finding is like this either this same type of experience continues to happen, or maybe totally different experiences happen, but the mind, which is impressed with that type of experience or belief, it starts to perceive even new experiences through the experience of that, through the lens of that previous experience, through a limited perspective of that limited impression that the previous experience left in our mind. So what we have to do is, with emotional healing, trauma healing, discovering our inner peace once again, our clarity once again, is we have to make the mind pure again. We have to purify the mind of these impressions. Now, you may say that, like, Sunny, that sounds much harder than what seems possible for me. And I thought so too. When I started going on the spiritual journey, I thought that was a really big, crazy, mystical thing. And a lot of people may even say that it's just entirely not possible. Whatever the mind is impressed with, that's just the nature of the mind now for the rest of your life. But I mean, you have a choice. You can either listen to other people, or you can really embark on a new possibility. On the spiritual path, anything is possible, and you can heal these impressions from the mind. So let's talk about the first thing that is necessary to just purify the mind of these impressions and help the mind go back to its natural state of purity, clarity, harmony. So notice that these impressions create your whole idea of yourself. So this impression changes your worldview. These impressions of trauma, they change how you conceive yourself to be and how you conceive the world to be. So these impressions are inherent in your self-image. So in order to remove these impressions, dissolve these impressions, you literally need to experience an absence of your self image. You need to experience an absence of who you are, of who you think you are. Good news is that when there's the absence of your self-image, you won't disappear, you won't go anywhere, but your self-image, which is a mental phenomenon, which is a mental commentary, a belief system, will be absent. And the more you experience the absence of your self-image, and we're going to talk about exactly how to do that, the more you will see these impressions naturally flowing away. When I began this journey, I had so many limiting beliefs about myself, about my worthiness, about what I could achieve or not, about what I could do in this life or not, all sorts of things. Through this practice, all those things have flown away. All those things have gradually melted away. It's not a crazy thing. It is the only natural thing. The mind is like a dirty washcloth full of dirt. Every time you dip it into this ocean that I'm about to talk to you about, this ocean of presence, this ocean of awareness, where there is no thought of who you are, what you've been through, no notion of past or future, just a total aliveness, a pool of life. The more this dirt from this cloth just falls away. Every time you dip the mind into this ocean of being, ocean of presence, of awareness, it comes out more and more pure each time. It's not visible to you in the beginning, but gradually it becomes so evident. You just start to see that, like, wow, I used to see the world in a totally different way. How I used to think of myself was totally different. How I used to conceive the world and others and situations, how I used to respond to things was totally different. Because you see, it's like you can't change those deeper impressions in the mind without changing everything else. It's like those deeper changes affect everything on the surface. Usually people are so like caught up in trying to change surface level things. They're trying to change only behaviors and the way they do things, or they're trying to work on things just on the surface level. Whereas real trauma healing and emotional healing happens on the deep level. The more you do it on the deep level, everything on the surface naturally reflects that change. So that's the way I've experienced it. And this is the main foundational practice, which you can call meditation, which is learning to experience an absence of self-image. You take time every single day, and I would recommend 2 times per day for 20 minutes. And what you're going to do is you're going to start to just notice what remains when you are not thinking about yourself, when you are not thinking about the world, when you are not thinking about the past or the future. In the absence of thought, notice the presence which still remains. This is going to be hard in the beginning, but this presence is there, always in the background. It is actually completely pure, already healed. It doesn't need any healing because it is always complete. You're going to learn to notice this presence. Because when you're noticing this presence, when you're being with this presence, and please do it now, in that moment, you are not in thoughts about who you are, what you've been through, what is broken about you, how much healing you have yet to do. In the absence of that entire narrative, in the absence of your self image, you quite literally become one as that presence, which is pure, complete, whole, happy, peaceful, simply shining. Again, take a moment to feel that, notice that presence. You can't think your way into it. Thinking your way into it will only perpetuate the very pain and trauma that you are trying to relieve yourself from. When you are practicing this, whatever thoughts are saying does not matter. Have no interest in it. Be interested only in this silent, wordless presence of being. This is what you are prior to the story of who you are, of what you've been through, of what you need to heal from. Start to spend time with, dwell in this presence, which is prior to your mental story. And it will begin to purify your mental story. It will begin to heal the wounds of the past. It will begin to release this light, which will consume all the darkness in your mind, all the pain, all the suffering. And all you have to do is learn to identify with this presence, be this presence, notice that you are this presence instead of dwelling in your mental narrative, your thoughts. The more you do it, the easier it becomes, and the greater freedom ensues from it. You will find an unshakable peace and serenity and happiness in this presence, which itself never changes, no matter how much pain or suffering the body mind go through. You are discovering a very powerful component of yourself, more true than the story that the mind projects about what you are. Truer, truer than personal identity. You see, when you do this, you find peace here and now. And through consistency with this, when you stay consistent with this, you will also just find peace becoming your natural, normal, habitual state. It's not going to be something you only find in meditation. That will be the case in the beginning for a little while. Until then, you can see this meditation as your safe place, your refuge. But gradually, it will become your normal state of being. And all those impressions in the mind, which were creating so much suffering and making you perceive the world in such a limited way and conceiving of yourself in such a limited way, all those impressions will start to slowly just wither away, melt away. So that is how you experience the absence of self image. Now, a supplemental practice along with this that you can do on a day to day basis that will help you accelerate this is that, of course, you do this, right? Twice per day for 20 minutes each. But during the day, when you are feeling triggered, when you are feeling like your trauma is arising in some way, shape, or form, like with through emotions, through emotional reactivity, through resistance, learn to feel into it. Learn to feel into it and allow it rather than act as it, rather than allowing those emotions to become your action, to influence you into actions of the same vibration. You learn to feel into those emotions, but you don't act on them right away. Don't allow those limited vibrations, those limited emotions and perceptions, perspectives of life overtake you. Just be alert during those moments and let them gradually pass before you take any action or maybe try to hurt another person or try to control and manipulate the situation that is before you. Start to just be alert and feel into whatever is arising without resistance, but don't make much of it. Don't create another story around it. Don't jump into thoughts who are conceptualizing it and describing it. Stay quiet. Understand that the more you constantly think about what is happening, what you're feeling, who you are, the more you will just reinforce your trauma, your story, your mental narrative of who you are. The more you stay alert, present, just fully aware of what is right now without any resistance, without perceiving it as a conflict, then on the internal level, you will not collect more trauma and you will not reinforce your old trauma. And from here and now, your thought, speech, and action will reflect a deeper state of presence, peace, stability, truth. And this will become your new way of being. Whenever you're confused, between what to do, what to choose, always choose according to your highest understanding. Sometimes like you want to act better, but your mind's lower nature is wanting you to, act out of resentment, or you want revenge, or you want to hurt someone, things like that, right? That is a way to suffering. That is a way to further go down the rabbit hole of illusion. Like those lower tendencies of mind, understand, will never make you happy. They will never help you truly heal emotionally. Always try to choose your higher perspectives. The higher perspectives will free you. When the higher perspectives are acted on rather than your lower nature perspectives, they will help you ascend the ladder of spiritual wisdom and emotional healing. So when you live life in that way, along with doing this practice every single day of meditation, where you experience the absence of your self image, your story, your narrative, this will start to completely shatter all sorts of belief systems. And it will start to make the mind more whole again. Less and less impressions weighing it down, distorting it. If you need help with this, which you may, because this is a difficult type of thing to do consistently, and so you may need support, community, resources, I have two for you. One is my self inquiry school. Over there, you will gain access to all my courses. One of them is on emotional mastery. So that is very related to this video. So all my courses, live meetings, Q&As, online retreats, and our lovely community. It just really is a wonderful place if you're looking to accelerate your spiritual growth, dissolve mind identification, and awaken to your true nature. I will link that down below. You can check it out. And if you're not ready for that, then check out my free group. My free group also is a wonderful place where you can get support. Over there, we have a free mini course on this meditation. And over there, you can interact with our community and ask questions and at least get the support of other people who are doing these same practices as you and growing in these spiritual disciplines. I also over there do some Q&A videos where I collect questions from you and answer them. So use either one of these two resources. I think they will really help you. Um, so I hope you enjoyed this video and gained value from it. Hit a thumbs up if you did. And let me know in the comments what you gained from it the most, your biggest insight. And yeah, so thank you for watching today. I'll see you next time.